Southern Sports Now, welcome in on a Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. So glad you are hanging out with us this morning. I am Chase Robinson, your host. Fired up for another day of Southern Sports Now because, boy, we got a lot to talk about today as we'll be diving into some college baseball with conference tournaments going on, some Braves baseball. We've got some high school sports to talk about. Ben Thomas, he covers prep sports all across the state of Alabama with AL.com. He was at Oxford and Jacksonville last week for the baseball state championship. So we'll get some insight from Ben Thomas on what he saw and so much more as we get rolling. Want to remind you, we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube on the East Alabama Now Facebook and YouTube channels. So like, comment, share, subscribe, all those things there on Facebook and YouTube. Share it with your friends, and let's talk some sports. You can comment, interact with us all throughout the show, and we'll get to those as we move through. But certainly excited for today, and as always, we start with our top 5 headlines. So let's jump right into it. Headline number 1, not a good night for the Atlanta Braves. Braves at home for this series with the Dodgers. They lost a close one to get the series started on Monday. And it was not a good night last night. 8-1, and for once we were blaming the offense for the Braves on this loss. Pitching not too bad. Certainly could be better, but the offense struggled last night. Only 5 hits in the game last night as the Dodgers beat the Braves. White Plains looking for a new softball coach. Tiffany Williams in her first season as head coach. And the Wildcats will be now looking for another head coach, most likely to be named coming up at the next board meeting in June. But a great season for Tiffany Williams and the White Plains Wildcats, making it to the state tournament. Probably the toughest draw in the state, in my opinion, as they had Orange Beach up first, who ended up winning the 4A state championship. Alabama gets a win to start the SEC tournament for the Tide as they shut out Kentucky 4-0 last night. Alabama playing really good baseball right now. We'll talk more about the Tide coming up, but you got to be pleased with what you're seeing if you're an Alabama baseball fan as they beat Kentucky 4-0. Auburn also getting a nice win, 11-4 over Missouri. And, again, you got to be pleased with the way Auburn's playing right now, especially offensively. A couple of big home runs. We'll see some highlights from that game coming up. But Auburn playing really good baseball right now. Would not surprise me if they go deep in the SEC tournament and go deep in the postseason as well. Maybe another World Series run for the Auburn Tigers. That's how good they're looking right now. Jacksonville State begins ASUN tournament play today. And the first game of the day down in Florida has already been pushed back because of weather. JSU scheduled for 2:30 this afternoon. So I can imagine that game, because of the first game being pushed back, they have not started it yet. So I can imagine that JSU Stetson game will be pushed back as well today. If I do get a time, I'll pass that along. But because of weather down in Deland, Florida, Jack State and Stetson will most likely be pushed back. But interesting tournament with the ASUN tournament as pool play, as Jacksonville State will at least have 3 games. Supposedly, I say that. Last year they only played 2 and then wouldn't let them play the 3rd. The ASUN does an interesting baseball tournament, to say the least, but it begins today down on campus at Stetson in Deland, Florida. But again, a lot to get to today. Go ahead, like, share, drop a comment on Facebook and YouTube. Would love to hear from you today. And as always, glad you're here. Keep it locked in right here. If you're joining us, maybe you're watching it on archive on Facebook or YouTube. Remember, we're live 10 a.m. every morning. You can join us. That way you can interact with us and share your thoughts. But go ahead and share it with your friends. But remember, we are live from 10 to 11 each weekday morning. Stick around. We will talk college baseball next here on Southern Sports Now. We'll continue in a moment.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rodney Sneed from both CARES and Direct Primary Care. Direct Primary Care is an exciting new model of medical care growing on both the East and West Coast. It's been recommended by Forbes and the American Academy of Family Physicians and others for individuals or small businesses with or without health insurance. The pure simplicity of a membership model streamlines the burden of medical care. It eliminates 60% of the overhead. That streamlining allows providers time to focus on patients with free, no copay, no deductible, unhurried office visits or telehealth visits with minimal waiting room time. It produces same or next day appointments and access by text or telephone during and after hours. It saves you from leaving work, wasting time and getting exposed in a waiting room, and the convenience and cost with barriers removed helps one avoid letting problems like a sore throat turn into expensive ER or hospital visits for pneumonia. If you're interested, search the web for CARES Direct Primary Care.
Southern Sports Now on a Wednesday. Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you this segment of the show. Ted's Floors and Beyond is your destination for, of course, all types of flooring, whether it's hardwood, laminate, carpet, tile, and luxury vinyl. But they've partnered with Welborn Cabinet now to be able to offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. Now, what does that include? That includes cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, and tile showers. They offer a 0% interest financing for 12 months and free in-home estimates. Lifetime warranty on flooring installation, and they are locally owned and operated. So you go in the store, they're going to be there to help you pick out what you want, make sure you get the right thing, and get you set and ready to go with a brand new floor or a brand new kitchen or bath. So go by and see Ted's Floors and Beyond, or visit them online, shopteds.com. But we appreciate Ted's Floors and Beyond for bringing you this segment of Southern Sports Now. And so we've got a lot of college baseball going on. Alabama, big win yesterday. Auburn, great win yesterday. Jacksonville State is up today in the ASUN tournament. But I want to talk some Alabama baseball because the way they're playing right now is really good for this team. We've talked about it. They've been through a lot this year. They're under interim head coach Jason Jackson now because, of course, the scandal behind Brad Bohannon and everything that happened with that betting scandal. And so for this team to be able to bounce back from that, to get some really big series win, you got a series win over Vanderbilt, you got a series win over Ole Miss, you got a series win over Texas A&M. For that team to be able to rally the way they did, when I think the easiest thing for them to have done was to just lay down and forget about this season. They didn't do that, though. They're playing really good baseball, and you want to play good baseball heading into Hoover, and that's what they're doing right now. They got a win over Kentucky yesterday, 4-0, got the shutout win. Today they've got Florida. So the road is getting tougher for Alabama. That's the downside if you're a Crimson Tide fan. That's a tough road that they have. Florida, number 1 in the SEC tournament. They're number 2 in the country. They're playing excellent baseball right now. We're in the double elimination round, though, so that helps Alabama and their chances. If they lose today to Florida, they're still in it. They still have a chance to win some games. Like I said yesterday, though, I'm not saying that this team is going to win the SEC or go on and be in the College World Series. I am saying, though, that this team definitely could win some games in this tournament. And definitely, I think, could win some games when we get into regionals. Because they're playing good baseball right now. They're making the plays that need to be made. I don't know if you saw Andrew Pickney last night throw a guy out from right field to home plate and got him out. I mean, things like that. This team is capable. They've got great pitching. That really helps, especially this time of the year. They're hitting the ball well. They're putting the ball where it needs to go. So I'm impressed with this team. I think they're going to surprise some people. They're playing really good. They kind of remind me of last year's Ole Miss team. And again, I'm not saying this Alabama team is going to go on and win the World Series, but I'm saying that they're hitting their strides at the right time. And that's what you need this time of the year. Ole Miss didn't have a great start to the season last year. They hit their strides towards the end of the year, and they won the World Series. Alabama is hitting their strides at the right time. They're rallying behind Jason Jackson. They're rallying behind their senior class, their senior leadership. And this Alabama team is really impressing me. We'll see how they do against Florida today. But I think even if they lose this first game to Florida, that they can still kind of bounce their way back and win some games in the SEC tournament. But great win for the Alabama Crimson Tide yesterday against the 8-seed Kentucky. And you get those 8 and 9 games, they're usually a lot of fun. Alabama able to pull that one out last night. Auburn stays alive as well as they beat Missouri. I want to look at highlights of this game because Auburn looked very good last night. Missouri took the early lead, but Auburn comes up, and as you see in the bottom of the third there, they scored off of a walk, and then it kind of opened up. Able to get guys back on base and able to get guys around just with some simple hits, some RBIs. But then we see some of these guys start hitting it deep. Sacrifice there, but Auburn ends up scoring. We start seeing some home runs as well, and as our friend Brad Law said on the radio broadcast last night, that hit right there may have hit the Galleria. I mean, he hit that one out, and you knew it. As soon as the ball hit the bat, he knew it was gone. But again, very impressed. Again, there, another deep hit right over to the center fielder's head. Able to round some guys, get them in. But to score the amount of runs that they did last night, very impressive in an opening round, even against a team like Missouri, who also has been playing good baseball. There you see another one out of the park. These aren't just ones that are going over the fence. That was probably in the back parking lot at the Hoover Met. And so this team has a lot of power, and they've got Vandy. He had some injuries to start the year, some injuries in their rotation. They've got these guys back that are more healthy, maybe not 100%, but they've got some guys who are way more healthy than they were to start the year. And so this is a fun team to watch. If you like hot offense, like we saw in the highlights there, then this Auburn team is really fun to watch. I like them. I like their chances of making it deep in this SEC tournament. And we heard from the sound bites yesterday from Butch Thompson, their head coach. You know, this conference is deep. The fact that Auburn did not have one player, first team all SEC, is very surprising. They had one second team. They had a freshman, and they had an all defensive player. But the fact that this Auburn team, the way they're playing, the way they're hitting the ball, did not have a single guy on first team all SEC, that shows you how deep the conference is. But they've got some very good players, and Bryson Ware has been so much fun to watch. You saw him hit a home run in those highlights. I like the way they're playing. I think they can make another World Series run. I really do. Butch Thompson's got this program definitely headed in the right direction, and definitely fun to watch. So Alabama, Auburn, both out of the single elimination rounds. And so certainly excited to see what they can do as they get into double elimination rounds starting today. So Auburn has Vanderbilt tonight. Alabama has got Florida this afternoon. And so hopefully things will stay clear. The weather will stay out of Hoover so they can get all these baseball games in. But I love the SEC baseball tournament, and I'm excited to watch these two teams play. like I said, Jacksonville State in the ASUN tournament. They've got Stetson coming up later today. The first game pushed back, so you imagine JSU Stetson also will be pushed back. JSU, the number 7 seed. We were talking with Mike Paris on the show yesterday. A little surprised by that based on the teams they've beaten, but I think this Jacksonville State team could definitely make a run at the ASUN as well. But a weird format, the ASUN tournament, with the 2 pools, Pool A and Pool B. Pool A has the top 4 teams, which is Lipscomb, Florida Gulf Coast, Liberty, and Jacksonville. And then you've got on the other side Stetson, Eastern Kentucky, Jack State, and Austin Peay. So 8 of the 14 teams are in the conference baseball tournament. The Pool A has a better chance of getting into the championship just because the way they have this laid out. It's crazy. I'm telling you, it's the weirdest conference tournament I've ever seen, to put it nicely. But Jacksonville State up again today, or after being off yesterday, they are up today against Stetson. We'll take a break and tell you about some All-Stars on the other side. It's about time for the North-South All-Star Games coming up in Montgomery in July, and they're starting to put out all the names that'll be competing. So we'll tell you about the local athletes that are now North All-Stars when we come back. Stick around.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
East Alabama Now Local News has been bringing you the best local news coverage for 6 months. And now we're growing.
EAN News will be available to you 5 nights a week with new faces, new content, and coverage that is second to none.
We'll be bringing you the weather that matters to your neighborhood and to you. Rain or shine, you'll be in the know.
Sports always brings communities together, and EAN Sports will have coverage of all of our area events.
East Alabama Now, local news, new faces, same great coverage. Starting 5 days a week, May 1st, EAN Local News, your news on your schedule.
Southern Sports Now on a Wednesday morning. Chase Robinson hanging out with you. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And I know we're having fun starting our day with you here on the East Alabama Now Facebook page, on the East Alabama Now YouTube channel, as we are live with Southern Sports Now this morning. So glad you are joining us. And, this time of the year, you get a lot of these announcements of all-state teams, all-stars for the North-South All-Star Game coming up in July. And we've got some local athletes that are on these lists, which is always exciting to see folks right here from the area being able to compete on the level with some of the best in the state of Alabama. And so I want to look at our all-star baseball players that were selected to the North All-Stars. How about Andrew Allen from Alexandria, pitcher? He was named to the North All-Star squad. You also have Carter Johnson, shortstop and pitcher. He will be a North All-Star. He's also committed to Alabama to play for the Crimson Tide. So Carter Johnson, a chance to play in the North-South All-Star baseball game. Also, McLean Mohon from Piedmont, infielder, has a chance to compete on the North All-Star level. So Andrew Allen, Carter Johnson, McLean Mohon will be playing here representing the North squad there in the All-Star baseball game. So congratulations to those guys. You put in a lot of work to get to this point, to play on this game July 17th down in Montgomery. But again, a lot of work for these guys. All three of them had great seasons. Alexandria, second round of the playoffs. Of course, Oxford state champions. You had Piedmont lost in the quarterfinals. So these guys made it deep. They've got great coaches, and so congratulations to those three guys for making it. Kind of to give you a description of what it means to be an All-Star, this is a rising seniors. So class of 24 is how they pick, and coaches submit names. They look at stats from the season, and that's how they draw these names to be All-Stars. But we have some in other sports as well. Also, so let's take a look at soccer. Erin Turley of Donahoe, she is headed to the All-Star game for the North squad in soccer. 18 members on the soccer team, and Erin Turley from Donahoe selected. And on the girls golf side, Isabel Rogers of White Plains is headed to the North All-Star game, and Coach Chris Randall will be coaching the golf team for the North squad. So White Plains head coach Chris Randall will be the head coach of the North squad for golf. So congratulations. That is very exciting for those athletes and for the coach there of making it to that. Announced today, in fact, just a few minutes ago, was the all-state team for soccer, and Donahoe well represented. So I'm going to read you some names here. As this just rolling in, the all-state soccer teams for 1A through 3A. On the boys' side, Bruce Downey, junior from Donahoe, Logan Melton, senior from Donahoe, and Drew Williamson, another senior from Donahoe. So Bruce Downey, Logan Melton, Drew Williamson, congratulations to those guys making all-state soccer teams for Class 1A through 3A from the Donahoe Falcons. So that's very exciting. And there's several girls from Donahoe on the all-state girls soccer team. Erin Turley, we just mentioned her as an all-star. She also made all-state, as well as Zoe Christopher, junior, Samantha Wakefield, sophomore, and Lily Mae Sherman, a senior from Donahoe. So Erin Turley, Zoe Christopher, Samantha Wakefield, and Lily Mae Sherman, all-state players for Donahoe girls. And so that's exciting for those athletes of having a chance to play now in the or Erin Turley playing the All-Star game, but these athletes making All-State. Huge recognition. And the fact that Donahoe's boys had 3 and the girls had 4 says a lot about that Donahoe soccer program. So congratulations to those athletes for making the All-Star and All-State teams. We'd like to give you kind of an update on local athletes. Brendan McCullough, Oxford baseball standout from a few years ago, has been playing his college baseball. He started out at Wallace State of Hanceville. Now he's at Murray State, and he made second team All-Missouri Valley Conference. And so Brendan McCullough talked a little bit about kind of his time playing there at Murray State and the team he has surround him as he makes second team All-Missouri Valley Conference.
The coolest thing is just getting to come and play for somebody like Coach Jericho and just compete with the guys that we have here. From top to bottom, 1 through 9, and on our pitching staff, everybody just competes. And I think that's the thing that coming here I was looking for, is just a group that was going to compete and play hard and have a lot of fun. And that's exactly what this group does. And so it's been a joy to be around.
So congratulations to Brendan McCullough there. Just to give you some numbers on him, 46 RBIs in the regular season, 10 doubles, and 7 home runs on offense. 14 stolen bases for Brennan McCullough. Had a fielding percentage of .991. And really impressive numbers there for the graduate Brennan McCullough. Has, again, started off at Wallace of Hanceville, ended up playing there at Murray State, and has been a huge part of this Murray State team who's looking to win that Missouri Valley Conference this week as their conference tournament going on. But congratulations to Brennan McCullough. That is huge there, the fact that he was able to go in and win and the way he has performed, and then to make second team all Missouri Valley Conference. Huge there for Brennan McCullough. We mentioned in the headlines, White Plains now looking for a new softball coach. Tiffany Williams was the head coach this year. Of course, you think back to Rachel Ford, her era there at White Plains for many, many years, led the team to many state tournaments, regional tournaments. Last year, decided to hang it up. She retired from coaching softball. The field's named after Rachel Ford Field there at White Plains. Tiffany Williams, who is an assistant under Ford, kind of took over the program. It was announced yesterday that she is no longer the head coach. They will be naming a new head coach coming up in June at the next Calhoun County Board of Education meeting. But you look at White Plains overall, a lot of new faces as far as coaches there. Blake Jennings, the new head football coach, came from Ohatchee, was a defensive coordinator there. You've got, a new baseball coach coming, and Blake Jennings, who will be doing both of those duties. Now a new softball coach. They have a new volleyball coach that was named a few weeks ago as Jamie Clendenin will take over the volleyball program there at White Plains. So we're at the point with a lot of coaching changes going on, but a very historically good softball program in the White Plains Wildcats will be looking for a new head coach. And so we'll see what happens there. And, of course, we'll keep you updated on that and let you know when the new name comes across. But we know that White Plains is looking for a new head softball coach. Looking at other sports as well. Weaver looking for a new football coach as Gary Ashley has departed to go to Jacksonville High School as an assistant. So the Weaver Bearcat job open for football. These schools are wanting to make hires very quickly because the summer is very important. You don't want to lose any momentum going into the summer by not having a head coach. And so I can imagine the next Board of Education meeting being on June 6th. We will find out a lot of new coaches. Any jobs that are open, I imagine, will be named at that June 6th Board of Education meeting in Calhoun County for these open jobs. But a lot this time of the year in high school sports. School is out, some ending now, some ending later on in the week. But a lot of graduating and then summer workouts beginning in a couple of weeks as preparation will begin for really all sports. You think now the way the High School Athletic Association has it is basketball teams, they're able to play 30 games in the summer with these play dates. You take 3 or 4 days and play, 10 games per day in these play dates, and you're able to get a lot of basketball time. Same with the football. End of June into July, we get a lot of 7-on-7 camps and OTAs, and teams really able to compete and find out a lot about their team as we before we even move into practice. And so that's why we were talking the other day, is spring practice irrelevant now? Well, because there's so many options of what you can do with workouts during the spring semester. If you're football and volleyball, even able to do that as well, have some time during the spring. Now during the summer, you're able to play basketball games, baseball games, 7-on-7s in football. And so it really opens the door for teams to, kind of be more competitive, face other teams. There's one thing when you're just hitting each other for 2 months, but the fact that you're able to play other teams, I think is really big. And so we'll be out there around at these 7-on-7s and some of these play dates in high school basketball, and we'll be bringing you some content this summer as these teams are preparing for next season and using the summer. You can't get behind the summer. As coaches will tell you, that's the time they get to prepare for the next year. But lots of great athletes in the area, and looking forward to the North-South All-Star Games coming up in July 17th. The week of July 17th in Montgomery is the coaches' conferences, and then the North-South All-Star Games. And so always great to see our local athletes able to compete, and we'll certainly be covering that when that rolls around coming up in July. But lots to do to get ready for our fall sports starting back up. It's hard to believe we're already at the end of school, so congratulations to those graduates out there as well, as graduations, a lot of those happening this week. So Ben Thomas is going to join us here in just a little bit. We'll talk high school baseball with Ben, as he was in Oxford and Jacksonville a week ago covering all the state championships, and Ben knows his stuff when it comes to high school sports. He spent many years covering sports across the state of Alabama, and does a great job with AL.com of bringing high school sports to life. And so we'll talk with him about some high school sports coming up in just a few minutes. Want to remind you, though, of how you can watch and interact with us. We are live on Facebook on the East Alabama Now Facebook page. We are live on YouTube on the East Alabama Now YouTube channel. Both of those places. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can be notified when we go live, when we post our news in the evenings there on the East Alabama Now YouTube channel. We're also on Facebook. You can like, share, comment, like our East Alabama Now Facebook page, again, so you can be notified when we post there on Facebook. We're also on Twitter at EAN_sports, so you can hit us up there on Twitter as well. If you have a story idea, guest idea, shoot me an email, eansports23@gmail.com, or again, you can send us a message on the East Alabama Now Facebook page, or the at EAN_sports there on Twitter. We will talk with Ben Thomas of AL.com, covering prep sports, next as we continue on Southern Sports Now.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rodney Sneed from both CARES and Direct Primary Care. Direct Primary Care is an exciting new model of medical care growing on both the East and West Coast. It's been recommended by Forbes and the American Academy of Family Physicians and others for individuals or small businesses with or without health insurance. The pure simplicity of a membership model streamlines the burden of medical care. It eliminates 60% of the overhead. That streamlining allows providers time to focus on patients with free, no copay, no deductible, unhurried office visits or telehealth visits with minimal waiting room time. It produces same or next day appointments and access by text or telephone during and after hours. It saves you from leaving work, wasting time and getting exposed in a waiting room, and the convenience and cost with barriers removed Helps one avoid letting problems like a sore throat turn into expensive ER or hospital visits for pneumonia. If you're interested, search the web for CARES Direct Primary Care.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Hello. Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
East Alabama Now Local News has been bringing you the best local news coverage for 6 months. And now we're growing.
EAN News will be available to you 5 nights a week with new faces, new content, and coverage that is second to none.
We'll be bringing you the weather that matters to your neighborhood and to you. Rain or shine, you'll be in the know.
Sports always brings communities together, and EAN Sports will have coverage of all of our area events.
East Alabama Now, local news, new faces, same great coverage. Starting 5 days a week, May 1st, EAN Local News, your news on your schedule.
Southern Sports Now. Welcome you back in on this Wednesday morning. Chase Robinson here with you. Appreciate you for hanging out with us, whether you're watching on the East Alabama Now Facebook page or YouTube channel. We're glad you are along with us. And it's hard to believe we're already at the end of the school year. Spring sports are officially over, and a lot of great baseball happened in this county last week. At Choccolocco Park in Oxford, Rudy Abbott Field at Jacksonville State was the site of the baseball state championships. And we're going to talk about that now as we welcome on Ben Thomas, covers prep sports for AL.com. Ben, great to talk with you today. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing, Chase?
Doing great. And I know a busy week for you last week, and saw some really good baseball. Just your overall impressions once again as we had the state championships in Oxford and Jacksonville. Your thoughts on the AHSA, first of all, moving them to these locations and what you saw.
Well, I mean, I like it. I mean, I started my career, actually lived right out of college in Jacksonville for 6 months while I was working for the Gadsden Times. And so I always like to go back to that area. It's a little bit for the hills and Central Phoenix City. Championship game in 7A. It was just packed out until 12:30 at night. Great atmosphere. The only issue, obviously, last week was the weather. I think last year, I don't think we had any weather to deal with, speak of to deal with. This year, it was every day pretty much, except for Friday. There were some weather issues, but you can't control that. I thought the High School Association and Choccolocco Park and Jacksonville State did as well as they could coping with that. They pretty much stayed on schedule. You know, each day they didn't have to push any games till the next day, even though we had a lot of delays. So it was cool. And I think Jacksonville State having turf on their baseball and softball fields really is what aided that. So it was a good week. I wish we'd had a little bit less weather, but that's something only God can control.
You're right about that. And we saw some good baseball. I thought it was interesting. 5 sweeps in the state championships. 5 of the 7 just went 2 games. Only 7A and 3A had to go to that if game. So it was more deciding in 2 games than normal, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that the team, obviously the team that wins that first game in the best of 3 has a big advantage there momentum wise, but we did see we had the 2 games that went 3 games that were both played on the same day, the 7A series and the 3A series. That was a long day. That was the longest day because we played 4 games that day, and we actually had a hailstorm before the 7A series, and so that was delayed. I think the first game that was scheduled to start at 4 didn't start till 7, and then Central Phoenix City won and forced the if game. That started about 10 and finished about 12:20 a.m., which Central Phoenix City goes by Eastern time, so that's about 1:30 their time. So it was a late night for them. I know some people thought, well, why couldn't we just push this game to the next day? The problem with doing that is then you got to find hotels for the teams, the fans and stuff, and not a lot of hotels right around the Jacksonville area. You have to go to Gadsden or Oxford or Anniston to do that. So, but it was a lot of sweets. There were obviously some big rallies and stuff. I thought it was a good baseball all the way around.
For sure, and I thought it was interesting that there was no repeat champions. A lot of times you'll see teams, back-to-back or multiple state championships, but Central Phoenix City was the only state champion to be back. They ended up losing. Of course, Etowah was in it last year. They ended up winning this year, but no repeat champions. I thought that was interesting. It kind of shows the amount of good baseball, I think, in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, I think it does show the parity, Chase. I mean, there's a lot of good teams, a lot of people across from Mobile to Huntsville. Good baseball. It seems like, I hadn't thought about that until you mentioned it. It seems like baseball, maybe softball too. There's more parity statewide. When you talk about basketball, it's usually the north half of the state that's really dominant. When you talk about football, oftentimes it's Birmingham down. But baseball and softball, I think it's you can tell that the athletes and the talent are spread statewide. So that was cool. Central Phoenix City, like you said, got there. They were the only team to have a chance to repeat. And they did force an if game, but Vestavia Hills looked like the better team there. Kind of a cool story there. I grew up on Vestavia Hills being one of the dominant baseball teams in the state under Sammy Dunn, the Hall of Fame coach. But they won 9 titles between 1990 and 2000, but hadn't won any since. So Coach Harris gets them back. They win that game 4-1. That was a good series, close games, 2 5-4 games and a 4-1 game. So you could see how even that series was. But it was, you're right, it was and we didn't have too many blowouts, in any series. So that tells you how competitive each one was.
We're talking high school baseball with Ben Thomas. He covers prep sports for AL.com. Appalachian won their first state title in Class 1A. Ayrton won their first state title in Class 2A. I had a chance to see Appalachian earlier in the year when they came to Anniston to take on Faith Christian, but I was impressed with that team then. But the fact that they were able to go out there and win 1A, I was really impressed with what I saw from the Appalachian Eagles.
Yeah, Brandon Johnson did a great job coaching them. A very interesting series there. That was the first series right of the week, and also the first rain delay. We had a 4-hour rain delay in that first game between Appalachian and Brantley. And I thought what was unique there is Appalachian scored 16 combined runs in the 7th inning of those 2 games. They won the first game 18-3 over Brantley, and then it looked for all the world like Brantley was going to force Game 3 in the first series of the week. They're up 10-3 going into the bottom of the 7th, and Appalachian scores 8 times to win 11-10 and win the state title. That was probably as dramatic a comeback as we saw all week. So that was just a great job by them. It kind of snowballed. It looked like it was one of those things where they got a couple of hits. There was maybe an error. I think there were some hit by pitches in that inning. And you thought, well, they're going to make it close. And then it just kept going. And then they had a big triple to tie the game and put the winning run on third with 1 out. And that was really the difference. I think there was an error there that brought in the winning run. But great rally there. I was impressed with Appalachian and Ayrton as well. played two really close games with Vincent. They went 2-1 in game one and 5-4 in game two. They finished with over 30 wins. We had a bunch of teams, Chase, with more than 30 wins, which tells you how good baseball was in the state.
You're right about that. Our hometown team, the Oxford Yellow Jackets, able to play really in their backyard, beat Spanish Fort in 2 games. Just watching that series, what impressed you about Coach Wes Brooks and the Oxford Yellow Jackets?
Well, they're just so deep. I mean, they obviously have some stars, but it didn't look like they had any first-round Major League Draft choice. It looked like they were all just great players from 1 to 9. I'd heard going in, I'd talked to some coaches, some 7A coaches in the Birmingham area. They had asked me, I'd gotten a question from the Gatorade people about who should be the Gatorade Player of the Year. And so I was calling around asking different coaches what they thought. And 2 7A coaches in the Birmingham area told me that Oxford was the best team in any classification this year. And they did nothing to dispel that when I saw them. They beat Spanish Fort was kind of on a Cinderella run. They've been really good in the past. They've won 4 state titles in a very short amount of time, but they hadn't won since 2014. They just got hot in the playoffs this year and made it there. It was a good thing for them, but I thought they were really the underdog against Oxford. Oxford playing at home, obviously, in game one. And then not nearby at Jacksonville State. They win the first game 5-4, and then just dominated in the second game, really 12-3. 39 wins for Oxford, I believe. Coach Wes Brooks said that team, he's seen a lot more Oxford baseball than I have. He said that team he thought could rival any team in Oxford history as far as being the best in that school's history. So they were, like I said, I heard going in that they were maybe the most impressive team in the state in any class, and they did nothing to discourage that.
Hasn't won one in a while is the Etowah Blue Devils, and they were able to beat UMS Wright after losing the championship last year. Coach Blake Bone got his team back this year. They won it. What stood out to you about the Blue Devils?
Well, just, a lot of guys I saw last year back, and that's big in baseball. Etowah was a team that, like I said, when I started as a young reporter in Gadsden, they were one of the dominant teams in the state with Larry Foster and over there, and the great people, Freddie Kitchens, and all the guys that came through that great program. Saw them last year against a very good Mobile Christian team that sent, 8 or 9 guys off to college. Mobile Christian was able to beat them last year. This year, they just look like the better team. UMS Wright, I think they won 10 state championships, so they've been there a lot. But I just thought Etowah's pitching was much better than UMS Wright, much more consistent. It was a pretty good series. They win 6-1 and 5-1. But I just thought Caleb Freeman and those guys, they just look like the better all-around team. And, they came back and another 30-win team. UMS Wright had a good run, but Etowah, I think, was the favorite going in, and was able to sweep that series.
Yeah, it was a great year of high school baseball. Really, all high school sports as prep sports has come to a close for this year, and Ben, it'll be right around the corner. We'll have high school football with just a couple of months in between. But really appreciate you coming on, talking some high school baseball with us today, and we'll have you on again very soon. But appreciate you coming on today, Ben.
Hey, no problem, Chase. Have a good week anytime, man.
Thank you. Ben Thomas, covering prep sports with AL.com, joining us here on Southern Sports Now. We will roll into our final segment of the day next. Stick around.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Wellberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rodney Sneed from both CARES and Direct Primary Care. Direct Primary Care is an exciting new model of medical care growing on both the East and West Coast. It's been recommended by Forbes and the American Academy of Family Physicians and others for individuals or small businesses with or without health insurance. The pure simplicity of a membership model streamlines the burden of medical care. It eliminates 60% of the overhead. That streamlining allows providers time to focus on patients with free, no copay, no deductible, unhurried office visits or telehealth visits with minimal waiting room time. It produces same or next day appointments and access by text or telephone during and after hours. It saves you from leaving work, wasting time and getting exposed in a waiting room. And the convenience and cost with barriers removed helps one avoid letting problems like a sore throat turn into an expensive ER or hospital visit for pneumonia. If you're interested, search the web for CARES Direct Primary Care.
Southern Sports Now on a Wednesday as we roll into our final segment of the day. If you're like me, you grew up playing the college football games brought to you by EA Sports. The video games, I won so many national championships on NCAA 14, which was the last one that came out with multiple different schools and would stay up to all hours of the night playing NCAA 14. Since then, we have not had a game for college football, but that will be changing as they are in the works right now, and the new NCAA college football game will be coming out in 2024. So next summer, EA Sports will be bringing out the next college football video game. And the reason there hasn't been one is because the whole debate of players didn't want their name, image, and likeness used. And they weren't making any money from it, which if you remember those games, you know, it was not the players' names that were on your team. Now, it was the same numbers. They were kind of built the same. They had the same abilities and strengths and weaknesses, but they didn't use their name. But it was their likeness. So players didn't like that. EA Sports was sued, the whole 9 yards. But because of name, image, likeness, NIL, now this is giving players the opportunity to profit from this. So it has just come out that EA Sports has finally been able to reach an agreement with One Team Partners. One Team Partners is a sports marketing agency that will allow the company to include name, image, likeness of NCAA Division I football players as long as they decide to opt in to this. Now, I can imagine that there's not going to be many players who don't want to opt into this. All these college football players grew up playing this game. They want this back out. I can see right now teams in their team rooms and their dorm rooms after game playing each other in this. So I imagine that they're going to opt into this, and we'll see just about every college football player's name, image, and likeness in this game. But they have a chance to make money off this now. And I can assure you that a lot of money is going to be made on this game, which is going to give players another chance to make money. And so this is going to be a really cool game. What I like about it is how real they're going to make it. You may have seen some articles here locally about Jacksonville State, the Marching Southerners, recording the fight song and all the pieces that they played during the game. They recorded those. Every university in the game, their marching bands recorded their fight song and recorded the pieces to put in the game. So when you play NCAA 24, you will hear the Marching Southerners or whatever band it is, whatever team you're playing with, you'll hear the actual band playing the fight song, which is crazy that they're able to do that. It'll be rosters from 2023. So this year's rosters will be the default rosters on NCAA 24. So there's some cool features to this, but it's getting real now that we're really a year away from this, and players are now able to opt in and become part of this game and make money off of it, which is the reason the game went away. So I think that it's going to be wildly popular and successful, and lots of money will be made off this. I'm glad EA Sports is bringing it back, and we'll see. I mean, we may have a Southern Sports Now NCAA 24 tournament next summer. You never know. That could very well happen. But I'm excited for the game being back. And, again, a lot of you out there remember playing these games back in the day, so glad those are back. Before we get out of here, got to talk a little Braves baseball. Tough loss last night to the Dodgers, 8-1. And for the first time in a while, we got to pin this loss not on pitching, but on the offense. Only 5 hits last night for the Braves at the plate. Spencer Strider did a great job. He only gave up 5 hits to the Dodgers, 11 strikeouts for Spencer Strider. We said he needed to have some positive outings. Behind Charlie Morton, Bryce Elder will be up tonight, but Spencer Strider there in the middle, he needed some good outings. He had a good outing last night, but didn't have any offense to back him up. But tough loss last night. That was very un-Braves-like on offense. They got to do better tonight against the Dodgers. You don't want the Los Angeles to come in and sweep you at home, which if the Dodgers get a win tonight will be a sweep in Truist Park in Atlanta. Braves need to get this win tonight. 1, for confidence, but 2, going into the rest of the summer to kind of finish out the month of May on a bright note. But Game 3 tonight, Bryce Elder on the mound. He had a good outing last time. We need another good outing from him tonight to get it going. But the bats need to get hot tonight in Truist Park for the Atlanta Braves. Boy, what a good show we've had. Appreciate Ben Thomas for hopping on with us, talking some high school baseball. Appreciate you for hanging out with us today. We will do it again tomorrow, as we do every weekday from 10 to 11 a.m. Make plans to join us on Facebook and YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at EAN_sports. Check out the EAN local news tonight on Facebook and YouTube. And we'll do it again tomorrow. We'll see you at 10 a.m. for more Southern Sports Now. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.